Picture this, an endless ocean stretches before you, its waves crashing violently against rocky shores. Behind you stands an army of 1,000,000 Vanaras, monkey warriors whose hearts burn with devotion to Rama. Ahead lies Lanka, the golden fortress where Sita awaits rescue. Between you and victory lies an impossible challenge, crossing a 100-mile stretch of turbulent waters. This is the moment that would test not just physical strength, but the very essence of faith itself. In the Ramayana, Valmiki describes this as one of the most extraordinary feats ever attempted, the construction and crossing of Rama Setu, the bridge that would connect two worlds. When Hanuman returned from Lanka with news of Sita's location, Rama's army faced their greatest obstacle yet. The demon king Ravana had chosen his fortress well protected by the vast ocean that no ordinary army could cross. But this was no ordinary army, and theirs was no ordinary cause. Among the Vanaras were two remarkable brothers, Nala and Nila, sons of the divine architect Vishvakarma. They possessed an extraordinary gift. Anything they touched would float on water, defying the very laws of nature. When they stepped forward to offer their service, hope ignited in every warrior's heart. The construction began at dawn. Picture thousands of Vanaras working as one magnificent organism. Some uprooted entire mountains, their peaks touching the clouds. Others gathered massive boulders, each stone the size of a palace. The younger Vanaras collected smaller rocks, understanding that every pebble mattered in this divine undertaking. As Nala and Nila touched each stone, something miraculous happened. Rocks that should have sunk like anchors began floating like lotus petals. The very elements seemed to bend before their divine heritage. But this wasn't merely about supernatural powers, it was about faith transforming the impossible into reality. The Ramayana tells us that even the ocean itself participated in this sacred mission. The waves, usually chaotic and destructive, became gentle helpers, carrying stones to their designated places. Fish and sea creatures formed living foundations, offering their bodies to support the divine cause. As the bridge grew, stretching mile after mile across the churning waters, something profound was happening within each Vanara. They weren't just building a physical structure, they were constructing a monument to collective faith. Every stone placed was an act of devotion to Rama, every moment of labor a prayer for Sita's rescue. The ancient texts describe the bridge as being 10 yajanas wide and 100 yajanas long, roughly 50 miles wide and 500 miles long by some calculations. But beyond these measurements lay a deeper truth. This bridge represented the power of unified purpose, the miracle that occurs when individual faith merges into collective determination. When the moment came to cross, imagine the scene. Rama himself stepped onto the bridge first, his divine feet blessing the stones laid by devoted hands. Behind him marched Lakshmana, Hanuman, Sugriva, and countless warriors, each step a leap of faith across the impossible. The crossing wasn't just a military maneuver, it was a spiritual journey. With each step on those floating stones, the Vanaras experienced something transcendent. They were walking on water, defying gravity, moving beyond the limitations of the physical world through the sheer power of their devotion. But perhaps the most beautiful aspect of this story lies in its deeper symbolism. The floating bridge represents the path of faith itself, seemingly impossible, requiring divine grace, yet ultimately accessible to those who surrender completely to Dharma. In our own lives, we face oceans of doubt, stretches of impossibility that seem insurmountable. The Vanara army's crossing teaches us that faith isn't passive hope, it's active participation in the divine plan. Like those ancient warriors, we must be willing to pick up our stones of effort and place them with devotion. The bridge also symbolizes the power of collective action guided by divine purpose. No single Vanara could have crossed that ocean alone, but together, blessed by divine grace and united in righteous cause, they achieved the impossible. Today, as we face our own seemingly impossible challenges, the floating bridge reminds us that when we align our actions with Dharma, when we work together with pure intention, when we have faith that transcends logic, the very elements conspire to help us succeed. The Vanara army's crossing stands as eternal testimony that faith, when combined with righteous action and divine grace, can indeed move mountains and make stones float on water.